All right, folks, we're gonna go do a little exploring, looking at some of these fallen stumps, and I want to find some fatwood so I can get my fire started and cook up some food. I'm not real hungry yet, but we'll get hungry. All right, let's look around here. This is where I originally planned to camp a couple weeks ago. There's a fallen tree here, and right there goes under a bit of, and that to me is a hazard for a critter home. This doesn't look real. No, this is all completely rotten out. About that left-handed chopping, huh? The issue with chopping into roots like this with any blade is you run the risk of hitting a rock and just scuffing up your blade pretty bad. But roots are very fibrous generally, and so when they start rotting and dying, they go quick. They have all channels and pores and things in them. But the good ones will have, if you chop into them, you can find deposits of fat. When I would expect the fatwood to be down in the chunk of this thing, down in like real thick of it. But that's only if it died, then blew down. If it died alive, it would just pool under the underbelly and in the branches. So, excuse me, let's go find a more accessible route to this thing. Like this guy here. Maybe it was cut down while it's still alive, but the fact that it shed its bark evenly like this tells me that it died and then it was cut down. That's still some real sturdy wood. But again, you go cutting into that, you can kiss your blade goodbye if you go down here where the fatwood probably is at. Because, yeah, it's rotten. Like I said, roots will sometimes, like this guy down here, it goes underground, right underneath me. They'll go down. This is duff. It's the thick pine needle bound garbage on the floor that smolders for days. And if you follow this guy down, I'll bet he picks up a lot of rocks eventually. He feels really shot. Yeah, his name's Walter. He's my friend now. I don't know, that feels pretty spongy, which isn't a bad feeling. I'm gonna just chip off the bark here and get a look at the wood better. Right, let me set you guys up and do this right. And again, this is only applicable if the tree died while it was standing up. Sorry, there's not much of a zoom on this little GoPro, but hopefully you can see it well enough. So I'm gonna come above the ground and just have some strikes at it here. Get it right in the mouth. But I mean, it feels solid, but I'm not seeing that or smelling. Oh, maybe here. I don't know. Better suited for an axe, I think. Or hatchet, chainsaw. Swinging any blade against the ground is a dangerous occupation. Definitely root. This is the sapwood right here. This darker colored stuff. You break that off and it just comes off in thin layers. That's what carries the sap to the top of the tree. But under here, that's the heartwood. And it's still pretty hard. What I'm not seeing is any sap. It should pool down here at the base of the tree. There's your stay alive longer outdoors lesson. Although it takes a great deal of calories to dig into a tree. And what you want to do is look in the elbow of the branches, but I'm looking for a cache, like a supply of this stuff. I'm not finding it in the elbow, upper elbow of this root. And I'm not going to spend an hour cutting into this thing to see if I can find it there. The branches are dry, so it could have been this thing. There could be sap in there, but it's got to be quite a ways in there. Out of curiosity. No, firm as a rock. Let's look along the branches here. So this big crack in it takes a while for trees to do that. Well, a winter, it gets suddenly cold and freezes the sap inside, it'll split it like that. This is a more likely candidate with all these mushy branches on it like that. With this, be careful for rattlesnakes and stuff up under this stuff. This is called a fire lay in my opinion. You grab that piece of wood and you put your fire and stuff on there. There, you're good to go. But this right here is more like what I would be looking for. Hey, bear. That's a weird sound. That is loud. But there it goes. Where'd it go? Hey, critter. I heard something run. I heard something run. Came out from under there and went that way. Let's see, critters up here. Porcupines, badgers, maybe ferrets, trash pandas, of course, that's probably more than likely. A squirrel, or gophers, more than likely it may have been a squirrel. But squirrels don't usually nest on the ground like that. They usually go up in the trees and you'll see a bundle of mess. That's where they'll be, like right up in there. Maybe you can make up that area there. Anyway, enough chasing the squirrels. Let's go continue whacking on a tree to get some sapwood. Come on, GoPro, let's cooperate. Alright, so hold that for me. Get my saw out. Let's see if we can do this way. Yeah, there we go. Please don't fall. I'm gonna think of it, behind me is a real dangerous area. Not behind me, behind you guys. Sorry. So this is the Gomboy 300, if this is the Japanese version. And nope. Dry as a board. Let's move down and try another one, huh? Can I see this guy? See if I can adjust you so you can see over here. Wish this tripod would stay where I put it better. Can't even tell what you're seeing. Sorry if it's a bad picture. That guy right there. Don't ruin my saw. Honestly though, if you whack into it like that and you don't see anything, chances are that ain't nothing. But I ain't seeing a darn thing. Don't pinch. There we go. Yeah, again, completely dry. Completely dry. So, I'll bet this thing died, then tipped over, and all that sap ran down the tree to the root ball, which is right down there. It's a big one. So let me put the saw away. I'm gonna go have a look at that, but let's first, let's look at this tangled mess. Get this all straightened out. Oh, crouch down, go under. A little bit of snow on the ground still. See, this tree out here camping the other day, Hunter's deer came and died right in here. Right in a mess of it all. This is what one tree fell, took the top of another. Probably was pushed to this. No, it hit that one too. Took the top of that tree, pushed over to the side there. Sometimes when a tree falls, not one, just yeah, that's a rotten tree there. Look at that. It just split wide open. Yeah, it's a mess in there. But that tree just split right open. Looks like it was knocked down by the other tree, and it went too. That elk droppings. Just for kicks and giggles. Let's disturb some wildlife. I don't hear no rattling, so I have Great Basin rattlesnakes up here, but it's getting pretty cold, so they've probably gone to their winter hiding ground. But anyway, let's get up in this. Carrying a blade, facing up. Like I say, don't do as I say, or don't do as I do. Do as I say. All right. That's the critter down right over there. Knocked this whole tree over when this big one fell. There's some doozies in here. Wow. This one, oh, that hit a living tree. I thought that was still alive. All right, let's keep going here. Just try not to fall off this guy. I don't like that feeling. All right, let's yeah. Oh wow. That's not promising at all. What I have heard that you just dig into these old ones like this. And after you peel through all this mush, which is actually good for starting fires, you'll find a sapwood. Not that I disagree, but you see how big this tree is? I'm just perched on this thing, and it's huge. So I might be digging a long time in here. But if you're freezing, it's not a bad way to do things, because it's going to keep you warm. If you're limited on calories, though, it's not going to be fun. There's a clearing down there. I'm just goofing off now. If you're still here. Oh wow. Actually, use the back of the blade for breaking things off like that. The way this thing is jumbling, I'm getting off of it. The whole thing moves when I hit that. I gotta know your limits here. Alright, so lesson learned there. It's punkwood. The whole outside is punky. This thing goes on for days. But it died a long time ago. That was one big pine. I don't know if this little GoPro does it justice, but several, yeah, probably 120, 30 feet tall. This is called a Douglas fir, I think. And they will grow up in this region 150, 200 feet tall sometimes. In fact, I'm in a forest with one such tree. It's just old. We're getting off this. Stab the blade into the ground. This is a hiking trail I was talking about. It runs up and down. No idea where it goes. My truck's just up in there, and my camp down there. But let's follow it for a minute, see what happens, where it goes to. A lot of dead fallen stuff this year. Still a bunch of dead ones up here that haven't fallen. Example, that monster right there with a hummingbird nest in it from what it sounds like. I've never had a lot of luck finding any sapwood or fatwood in Douglas fir trees. I'll try to look for white pines up here and see if that's even better, but not where I'm at. Now this just goes and goes and goes. A few spaces off down here where it's a bit clear. It's obvious somebody took a break, but going not in the direction I want now. Here's a lesson for you. Look at all the little pine trees growing everywhere. When the big ones break open and fall, well, fire comes through and destroys them. It makes room for these guys to start sprouting up everywhere. Sunlight doesn't hit the ground floor. End up like this guy. It looks more like a bush than a tree, and parts of it just die off. You get that everywhere. But in the thick stuff like in there, there's no little trees. But you got these little bush-like fucking things. I'm not sure what this is, but it looks like tree cancer. But that guy, real flammable. But it's not dead yet, it's wet. I've got this big bulbous-looking pine thing growing off the top of a tiny tree. All these trees just look mangled. Probably not enough light to get up. Let's go. Wasting time. Here to work on my bushcraft camp and explore. That's what we're doing. Tempted to cut into one of these really punky ones. But this is the trunk, and hardly ever any sapwood in the trunk. This guy here. Feeling rocks as I'm hitting in here. Rip blade, I'll have to hit it with a grinder when I get home and fix it. Growth rings are pretty far apart on this. Went up fast, came down fast, it looks like it. And this is why it died. See this powder? Velvet beetles. We can find a larvae. I usually burrow under the skin of the tree. And there's all that powder coming out. Yeah, look at that trail right there. That's from a velvet, just like an Asian or Japanese velvet beetle. It's sad. It's decimating Utah's pine trees, and the federal government won't let us do anything about it. See how deep this is in here? The beetle trails everywhere. I don't know if you can see that or not. So yeah, the machete's good for clearing, doing certain tasks, but it's doing this because of this edge right there. I can wedge it in there and pry off slabs, but as far as finding sapwood, we're failing. And didn't expect to. So I brought some I found earlier. Sometimes you can use the back of your blade. All things dug out by boar beetles. Whoa. And now we're cutting into the deeper center. It's still just fibrous and mush. If I was on alone, I'd be looking for food right now. You can eat the grubs. It don't hurt you. Finding one is a little bit harder said than done, though. Am I getting anywhere with this? No. If I had a chainsaw, I'd go right through there like that. And see if a cross-section cut would yield anything. But no, like I say, Douglas fir trees are not great for fatwood. You can find it, like, let me show you the obvious way to find it, the way I've always done it. Don't forget that. The branches here, like this guy, break them out of the tree, and more often than not, you'll have a bit in here. See it right here. Let me try doing this. So hold on, let's bring it over here. It's not a lot, and it's not that high quality, but I'll show you here. I mean, see this right here. Clean it up a bit. See that? It's like rosin. It is resin. Get my knife here. And this is what you want to be on the lookout for. See that bright amber color? Whatever color that, I can't see reds and greens, I'm sorry, but this right there is fatwood, but you don't get a lot of it. So I would just trim off everything from the bark down, and don't try to make curls out of it, because you'll get these big these little tiny feathers like that. What you want to do is take the stick here, and if you've got a knife with a 90-degree spine, great. If you don't, go get one. If you want to really get to it, or like I did, grind your spine down. What you want to do is this. See what that's doing down there? Scraping off a bit of this stuff into a dusty pile like that. Even the bark, leave it on the side. But that right there will take a spark first try. And then find a dry tree just like this and get this punk wood. That's gold. That's great for starting a fire. But don't, if you got a big feather or big stick and you're real good at making them just hair thin curls, by all means go for it. If you're like me and you're no good at this stuff, always self-detrimental, make a pile like that. And I don't have my lighter with me, besides this place is the tinder bundle, believe it or not. But take the back of your blade and scrape that resin into a pile. See, we got this nice, light, fluffy, spark-loving mess right there. That's how you want to do it. Let me be honest with you guys. Feather sticks are largely for show. I've been out here a dozen times, hundreds of times actually. I've been in these woods, I've grown up in this environment, and feather sticks, I don't hardly ever find a use for them. Yeah, they're fun, and it's a nice skill to have, so if you don't know how to do it, go ahead and learn, but it's not going to save your life. You want to make a fire, gather material like this, and save it until you got like a little tin that has enough of it in there, and keep it. If you want to do long-term survival, look at season 2 alone. As a fella, I can't remember his name, Terry or something. He took punk wood like this, and he put it in his fishing tin, and he put it on the fire until it stopped smoking. You seal it off, put a little tiny hole in it, and then you get these flakes of char with punk. What am I trying to say? charred wood. Essentially it is. It's like char cloth, and it'll grab a spark from your firewood first time, even in -degree temperatures. So this is what you get. It's just shavings of this punky nastiness, and it's everywhere in pine forest. Every pine forest has this. Every single one. As soon as this stuff starts to rot, it turns into punk wood. And you just want to take that stuff, char it, save the sapwood, like I said, from the elbows of trees like this, and you can see the shine. I don't know if you can or can't. Can you see the shine off that stick? That's the sapwood. This is not grade A, high quality material by any means, but if you want to sit here and do this for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and slowly get enough resin to start a fire, be my guest. Me, I'll use the back of my blade and create dust like that. And then I'll grab some of this, crunch it all up together, plop it down, then put your first layer on there, which should be sticks. No bigger than this guy. Just these, what they call pencil lead sticks. Technically, the pencil lead's about that big, but you get the idea. Small ones, little tiny twigs. When that ignites, put it all in there. You're good to go. You're golden. Don't care if it's 40 or below zero. You're good to go. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Not these Instagram style, long, huge curls that take 35, 40 minutes to make. Don't do it. I mean, there's some guys that, and even I can do it. I don't do it the same way they do. I will take my blade and I will get that one out. I'll just use this one. I'll ram it into a stick like that. Move that one right there. And I'll go like this. And I'll take my stick and I'll break it, clean it up so I don't snag it on my face anywhere. And then I'll take it and I'll do this. That's easy. I'm not making no bushcraft Instagram, bushcraft USA, show off to your friends, feather sticks, get lots of subscribers with fancy schmancy pictures. No. I like to teach practical survival. You're cold, this fast movement with your hands and arms like this. I don't know if you can see me good. I don't think you can see me at all. Come up like this, with your blade in there like that, and you're going a bit like this. You're generating heat, you're burning some calories, you're getting that beach body you always wanted. Just like that. Toss the stick away. Take your knife, put some sparks in there. That's not an Instagram picture right there. That's a bunch of sawdust. Ain't nobody gonna subscribe to your Instagram page and your Twitter and get you that blue check mark without doing that business. But that's the way you do it. Sitting here with a stick, especially pine. Look at this pine stick. First, you got to clear all the crap off of it, and it's not easy to do because there's these little knobs everywhere. And then you got to find a place on this stick that's friendly enough to do your curls. You put it in something, and you lock your elbow, and you follow all the rules, and you do your curls like this. And you try to find like the inside curvature bit, and you just keep on doing it, and you get these frustrating curls that fall off your stick. Nope. Mine are little, they're crappy. If I choose to make curls, I'm doing it for fun. But you can do it just like this, just as easily and faster, except when you get stuck on a knot. But like I said, this is pine. Pine's not a feather stick friendly wood. This is Douglas fir. It's technically, I think it's technically a pine tree, but this is not your, I mean, honestly, my friends, if you come to my channel and you're like looking for that beautiful Instagram style bushcraft with the hidden woodsman gear and the fall raven pants and the bark river knives and the $800 in gear, I'm sorry, you're gonna be disappointed. These jeans were like $15. This knife was $8. Made out of 1095 steel. Got it from a guy in Ukraine, custom built, shiny feather, beautiful. I put the thing on there. Comes with a great, ooh, look at that form. A great leather sheath. Does what I want to do. I got my Gone Boy. I got all kinds of saws. I don't have a lot of axes because I don't think they're that useful. That's what I'm about. I'm about practical survival. I'm about minimum expenditure with max amount of gain. I don't like coming out in the woods and working my butt off. I enjoy doing what I do. I come out and I do it, but like I said, let me go show you what I just explained. Let me go show you in action down at my camp, because I don't know if you can smell that, but that's the stakes thawing. Let's go. All right, guys, I don't know if you've ever, looks like a dangerous tree right there. ADD everywhere. I don't know if you've ever done this. If you haven't, you got to try it. How to thaw a steak. Now, I just drove about an hour to get up in these woods. Beautiful woods. Love it up here. Sorry about the sun glare. Hiking up the trail. Getting up the car. Collect some of that and make firewood. That's just a burnt stick, but those are your charcoals right there. Got some down at the camp, so I'm not going to. But I don't know, I'm all about practicality and doing things the right way and the easy way, so to speak. I want to forget that. Got my pickup truck, at least the hoods. This is my sapwood stick, backup stick. That's all it is, leaving it there. Someone else is fired. I don't know what that's all about. Like I said, this is a pretty popular area. We are gonna attempt to one-handed get this truck open here. Come on, there we go. Oh, what have we here? Hot engine. Thawing mistakes for me. Come on, steaks. Look at this. These are tenderloin steaks. Not 100% thawed. Better than frozen. Let's go make a fire and cook some steaks. Messy. Oh, 18% on the battery. We better hurry. All right, let's practice what we preach. Here is my old fire pit. Not very clean, not very great. Here was the Siberian log fire. I got some blackness down there. That is good. That is good. This area is not that great. Here are the logs I cut earlier. Here's my hatchet. Here's my steaks. This was my chair. Now it's holding my coconut water. I don't know why I throw my tools on the... I'm sidetracked. Okay. Step number one. We want a fire in there. All I got is a ferro rod. So what are we going to do? We're going to make a fire. First thing we're going to do, we're going to go find a fatwood stick. The best place to look, one of these really old, big, giant Doug fir trees. So let's go get one. Saw, don't need it. Knife, bringing it because it's attached to me, but I don't need it. What do you need? Your hands. Come up to the tree and have a look around. It's not in good shape. You can hear a trailer coming. Look at these sticks. Find one that's got gum around it and break it out of there. Again, sorry. You know, oh, I didn't break it close enough. Try the next one. Go up. Old, too old. Oh, broke in the wrong place. This would be easier with a hatchet. But we're not doing hatchet because we're a lost hiker and we ain't got one. All right, here we go. Is that any good? Look at the shiny. If you see, you see this here, put it in the sunlight. Can you see it shiny? That's what we want. Next step, make it easier to carry. Break it. Portable fire. Take it back to camp. Next thing we want, we're gonna want a new battery for a GoPro first. We're gonna want a fire lay. I'm gonna explain what that is. A fire lay. Where do I put you guys? We'll do it right here on this, right next to the stick. Stick, you don't need to be there. Go over there, stick. Oh, all right, sorry, losing my brains here. First thing you want is a fire lay. Now what is that? It's just a flat location. Cut near your hands because, you know how they say, safety third. Just make a flat location that's gonna catch sparks. It's not easy to do with a pocket knife, but we're a lost hiker. That's what we got, a pocket knife. Kinda. Now, step number two. How are we gonna collect our dust? Well, let's have a look around. We haven't been a pine forest, so we got pine bark galore everywhere. Look at pine bark. If it's got beetle poo on it, toss it. You don't want that. Look for pine bark that's got sap on it, like this fella right here, but we don't want that pine bark either, because I don't know, just cause. But these very lightweight pieces of pine bark. That can be good or it can be bad. You hit that with your knife, it goes everywhere, so we're gonna do it anyway. Because I'm cold and a hungry cold hiker. Step number 2. I'm gonna come over here. Come on, GoPro. Come over here. What are we gonna do? Yeah, get the hatchet out. Just tap it on the end. Here it goes. Put the hatchet somewhere safe in the stump of a tree. Put the saw somewhere safe because we don't have it. We don't have a saw. It's 40 degrees. We're hungry but cold. For some reason we're hiking with a steak. Get your knife. Grab a stick. Whack her in there. So it's not going to come out just by pulling on it. Where's my stick? There it is right there. Now, this is obnoxiously long. Yes, it is. No, it's just a bit too long. So what are we going to do? Put it up against something and break it. Break it again. Throw them bits in your fire spot. Now see the shiny here? We want to keep that. Put this up on there like that and scrape the shiny. Be patient though. That's one way to do it. Because we're going for Instagram star, we're obviously going to make a mess of this. I'm cold though, I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do, pull back on my knife, push it forward, pull back, push forward, get over there, come here. Oh, the log's giving birth. Okay. That's one way to do it. We ain't going to do it that way. This is not a really good stick. Wedge it in one of these little checks on a tree. Put your little fire lay up there and scrape. And hope that, oh, I can smell that turpentine-y pine sap smell. And the harder you hit your knuckles, the better. Safety third. Just get enough dust, about the size of a quarter. You're gonna fling it everywhere, trust me. It's okay, you can get it back. It's okay. And you get a little hiccup, just peel that part off. You don't need to do something pretty. You don't need 14 foot. You can even use the edge of your knife, but since this is not a very good fatwood stick, I'm just scraping this whole, anything that's red, brown, yellow, I'm getting off of there. Dark turpentine, rosining luck. Have fun with it because it's not every day you're lost in the woods. Get a good pile of this resiny garbage. It's sticky. It smells so good though. Still more in there. We don't need it all. So I'm going to cut some chunks off because we want some substance. That's a good word. Just like a girlfriend or boyfriend, they got to have some substance to them. There we go. I like them blue check marks. All right, take your gloves off because you're going to spill this garbage everywhere. And pick it up with your shaky hands. Put it on your fire lay. Guess where this is going? Right, into the fire. But you're not ready to start a fire yet. No. You got to get your step 2. Not your beer. I'm looking at you, Campbell Steve, folks. A different step 2. So, these should be light and fluffy and kind of compact together a bit because you scraped them with your knife like the smart guy instead of made giant feather stick curls like the frustrated Instagram nerd. Bring that over there and it goes right into the fire. This is dry. We know that is dry. And we're going to put it just like this on a stable surface like that, okay? Beautiful. So we'll get our step 2. This is what I call a step 2. These little fellas here break off a fair amount because they got to carry your fire and get it hot enough for bigger stuff to get in it. So I'm just going to start breaking off a pile of these things. You want a bird's nest size, a decent amount, a chunk, a bushel, a bunch, twice, 3 times as much as that. Like I said, this has to carry your fire until you get thicker stuff on there. And carry, it's got to ignite and burn until you get thicker stuff on there. But this is a good start right here. This is good stuff. Pine works really good, but you got to understand a thing about pine. When it starts to burn, it goes up like good gasoline. I'm going to put that right there. We're going to go with a small amount for now, just for demonstration purposes. Put that there, and then next you want something like these, bigger like these. Put that over there. You can break it up while the fire's catching. thicker, see? Big as my fingers, big as my thumbs. Dum-diddy-dum-diddy-dum-dum-dum. Okay, so we got that right there. Name that reference, parents. Picking up these twigs. I don't want to put them all in at once. Oh, I'm getting old. I'm like getting old. What do we do now? We got that, we got that. You can take some of these bits of pieces of old burnt wood if you got it. That'll be your coal, that'll carry your fire. That'll cook your steak. It'll be red hot. So I'm gonna peel off a couple of these guys and put them over there, because when they get red hot, that's what gives you heat. That's what cooks your steak. Your steak. I bet half you just left because I keep calling it a steak. Look at these things. Shaky hands. It's cold. It's like 35 degrees out here. And the sun just went down, so the temperature's gonna drop real quick. Oh, by the way, happy Halloween, everybody. Yeah, I did it on Halloween. So that's about all I'm gonna take of those. Besides, I don't want to get my hands dirty. Pants are for. All right. That's step one. We got step two. We got some aid. This is what I call an aid. Doesn't need, not necessarily, it's not gonna burn. It's an aid. Now, let's start breaking up some of these step threes. Oh, I got a lot of powder on here. Whatever. My blade's gonna be sticky. I don't care. Now, what's the best way to break these things up? Like that. Like that. Ta-da! And if they're small enough, put them in your step one. In fact, you can stack the step one on top of the step two. Excuse me, the step three. That's the step one over there. Step three on top of your step two, like a geese. As long as it gets licked by the fire, you're good. Now, that is enough to get a fire going. And while that happens, I'm gonna put out some of these things. Now, I got these logs over here, and I got my saws and whatnot, so I'm gonna cut more wood, but this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna come right here. This thing has a striker built into it, and I'm gonna see if I can use my knife. So I'm gonna wad this up in my hand and try to keep it out of the way. Make sure your step two is real handy. And let's put some sparks. There we go. Second try. Look at how well that burns right there. I just scraped that. Without hesitation, take a log. Should have been here already. Put it there and stick your whole step two over the top like that. Get it all up in there. It's gonna catch, start to burn. I'll pull you out of the way. If it doesn't catch and burn, it's because I did this all bass-ackwards wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna pull that out. There we go. This is how we do it. Do it like they do. Do we have fire? We're barely gonna make it. Yeah, we got it. Anyway, that's feather sticks are optional. You don't need them. You really do not need feather sticks. It's just a Instagram thing. You really don't need it. I'm telling you, folks. You can make a fire real easy just doing that. Anyway, that's how you make a fire. I'm gonna burn this up, make a steak, put some good thicker pieces on there, and I will see you guys on the next adventure. Bye. It's not going out, I promise.